Hello everybody, thanks a lot for joining. As you know, this is the fourth session of a series of workshops about the unconscious mind. In our last session, we talked about the interpretation of dreams. We saw some typical dreams and we wondered why we all have those dreams at some point. Today, we will elaborate on that and go a bit further, exploring some other basic psychoanalytical concepts. In the last video, we saw that the source of many dreams and nightmares is the Oedipus complex. What is then this of the Oedipus complex? Let's start. The Oedipus complex is a process through which we become human beings. We all go through it. It is the entrance of the individual in the language, the acquisition of the main human signifiers, male, female, father, mother. We access the world thanks to the wish of other human beings. In the very beginning, the human wish is wish for the mother. The baby and the mother are very close. If the mother only wishes the child cannot join the world. In order for the child to be able to join the world, he needs to be disappointed. He needs to realize that the mother, apart from wishing him, wishes other things: her job, her friends, his dad, her lover, anything. It is not necessary that the dad is present for the baby to have a father. Father of the baby is that the mother wishes something else which is not the child. That is why when a little child gets sick, we treat the mother, so that she can wish for something different other than the child. Physicians should not find this strange. They know that the child does not have his own immune system until they are a lot older. The first months of life, they live thanks to the immune system of the mother. They can't breathe properly until they are 6 months. This is why it is important to cuddle babies. Not always they cry because they are hungry. Sometimes they cry because they can't breathe. Without a human being who saved our life, we would die. That person who saved my life is normally the mother, but that can be any other person who does the function of the mother. The father comes and the mother divides her wish to something different, which is not the child. She shows the baby that there is a whole world to wish for. That is the origin of the unconscious wish. The child renounces to his mother due to the father intervention. Remember, we also said that the origin of the unconscious wish is the Oedipus complex. What does this all mean? It means that the relation with the mother needs to be repressed due to the incest interdiction done by the father. It becomes unconscious. Since that moment, the human being is divided in consciousness and unconscious mind. The child loves the mother. That is why he fears the fury of the father. That is the origin of anxiety. And this anxiety is necessary. Otherwise, we will never renounce to our mother. Bear in mind that when I say here to renounce, it means to become unconscious. The human being never renounces to something they enjoyed. The origin of guilt is the wish of death for the father. We will see all this deeper and we will go deeper in coming videos. We will see how this anxiety and this guilt are absolutely necessary in the constitution of the human being. Later, they will play a key role in the development of neurosis, unfortunately. I will also explain this in coming videos. Both boys and girls go through the Oedipus complex. For both of them, the first loved object is the mother, and the mother is the person who cares for them and helps them to survive when they can't alone. The first love appears when the mother satisfied all those first needs. We will see how the Oedipus complex is a bit more difficult for girls than for boys. Boys go from the mother to other women, but girls need to go from the mother to the father and then to other men. Both of them love the mother and the father and identify with them. This is why we say that the result of the Oedipus complex is the acquisition of the main human signifiers: male, female, mother, and father. We all have those four sexes. They are all positions in the language. Functions. The moment the love for the mother and the hate for the father become unconscious, the psychic apparatus is founded. However, the Oedipus complex is a process which never really ends. The child feels his body fragmented upon the image of the complete body of his mother. I want to be that child complete. Every time we begin a new activity, we will go from the insufficiency of the baby, who feels his body fragmented, to the anticipation of that mother, whose body is complete. Let's say I want to be a doctor. My absolute ignorance versus the knowledge and experience of someone who is already a doctor will make me feel fragmented, exactly the same as when I was a baby versus my complete mother. In the previous video, we talked about the interpretation of dreams, and you will see now how everything is intertwined. Remember, dreams, after interpretation, are unconscious wish fulfillment. How can we then explain sad, scary, or annoying dreams? How is it possible that they are wish fulfillment? To understand this, we need to realize that there is the manifest dream, the dream that reaches the conscience of the patient and that he tells in the session, and the latent dream, which is always wish fulfillment. The manifest content can be scary, but after interpreted, it appears as an unconscious desire. Remember, the dream in which the nephew dies so that her aunt can see his lover attending to the funeral, can see her lover, sorry. Freud realized that there is work that the dream does in order to transform the unconscious wish, seeing her lover, and give it the appearance of the manifest dream, the death of her nephew. Dreams are the result of a distortion process, and I'm going to highlight this distortion process. Freud wonders, why does this distortion happen? Our unconscious mind will never show up exactly as it is. It always appears distorted, displaced, disguised, so it can transfer the censor. Otherwise, the censor cannot tolerate it. It is because of the censor that this distortion happens. The aunt was shocked because she did not feel pain in the dream for the death of her nephew. She didn't feel pain because the wish she was fulfilling was to see her lover. Remember what we just said. Since we repress the wish for the mother and the fury for the father, we are divided into consciousness and conscious mind. Because of that division, boom, there is censor. Since that moment, consciousness does not want to know anything about the unconscious mind. And remember, from our first session, unconscious mind always tends to show up. So it will appear distorted, condensed, displaced. Unconscious mind is structured as a language. The main operations in this process of distortion that I have mentioned, or that I am talking about, are condensation, metonym, and displacement, metaphor. These are the key ones, but there are others that I'm not going to explain here. Like it could be, for example, transformation on the contrary. How did Freud realize that there was displacement in the dreams? Because the manifest content, the dream, normally is very short and the latent ideas are very long. Many times also the dream, as we dream it, is images, and when we tell it in the session and put it in words, is very long. Also, the main idea of the manifest content is very different from the main idea of the latent content. What has happened? There has been a displacement, a movement of the psychic accent from representations which the consciousness cannot tolerate to other representations that can access the consciousness. All this is to hide the unconscious wish behind the dream. Please remember that we are using the dreams to show how the unconscious works. This is the objective of the whole work that Freud did in the interpretation of the dreams. Remember that other products of the unconscious mind are jokes, sleep, symptoms. They are all produced using the same mechanisms of condensation and displacement. Remember as well that in my previous session, when I was explaining the method of interpretation in psychoanalysis, I told you that there is the manifest speech and the latent speech. The work of the psychoanalyst is to undo the unconscious work, which transforms the latent message in the manifest speech. This is what I just explained you using the dreams. How that unconscious mind works with condensation and displacement, with all these unconscious operators. Not sure if you realize what this means, but it means if we can interpret a dream, we can interpret the speech of a patient, we can interpret a symptom. You are not going to believe it, I know, but symptoms, as dreams, are unconscious with this guest. We will have a whole session about that. In our next session, we will deep dive in the Oedipus complex to get a better understanding about our unconscious processes. I hope to see you all there and hoping you are enjoying it. See you next time. Bye.